Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It is Atia here at Book Night with Atia, and today we're getting into my NetGalley November week 2 update. This is going to be just detailing like where I'm at with NetGalley, my reading as of November 10th through the 16th. If you haven't seen my week 1 update, make sure you check that out as well. And so I started the week with 852 approvals and 500 feedback sent. And so that had my percentage at 58.7%. My approvals are now at 870, so I gained 18. And my feedback is now at 511. And would you believe my feedback score ratio is exactly the same? It is 58.7. So I didn't really budge, which is better than going down. So that's great. In terms of the 18 approvals that I had, I'm just going to run them down and you'll see the titles and authors on the screen. We have Burn Down Master's House by Clay Kane, Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker, Caramel and Carmilla by Joseph Sheridan Lifanu and Jewel Gomez, The Valley of Vengeful Ghosts by Kim Fu, City of Widows by Nadia Hashimi, The House Guest by Amber and Danielle Brown, Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah Mugulrana, Boring Asian Female by Carmen Zhu, Hattie Mae Begins Again by Sharon G. Flake, Isn't It Obvious by Rachel Runya Katz, Supersuasive by Mariam El Mahati, Witch Queen Arising by Savannah Stevens, This Ain't Our First Rodeo by Liara Tamani, The Burning Grounds by Abir Mukherjee, I'll Find You Where the Timeline Ends by Kylie Lee Baker, Lucky Seed by Justinian Huang, Death in Dingguan by Mia P. Manansala, and The Serpent's Gate by Jerry Hemmer. So those are the 18 books that I was approved for in the past week. Now I'm getting on to feedback, and I'm realizing that once again I forgot to bring my laptop over here, so please hold. The angle might be a little different, but it is what it is. So as you can tell from the stats, I submitted 11. I'm not going to talk about all 11. I'm really going to talk about 7 of them. One was a double up, which means that I had both the audiobook and the ebook. Another one was an audiobook for a book I had already read. So I did not read it in this week. I read it actually during ARC August. So make sure you check out that. Actually, it's not in that vlog. It's in my SFF novel vlog or novella vlog. And another one was a picture book, which I don't even think I included, but I need to. And another one was a volume of manga. But let's start with Lou with the Band, which I read the audiobook of. And again, much like the week 1 update, I'm going to read my feedback. I just think that's the most succinct way to do that. Lou with the Band is a contemporary young adult novel. Lou with the Band is a contemporary young adult novel that follows Lou, freshly out of high school and no stranger to reimagining herself, bursting to escape her small Texan town and unsure if she even wants to attend college, and embarking on a world tour with international pop sensation Zaya as part of the crew. When the band's mercurial, worldly, and prodigious lead guitarist Chris pulls Lou into his orbit, and Lou begins to make blunders that could cost her her job on tour, Lou is forced to reckon with this new version she's crafted of herself, and whether or not new Lou is real Lou. I loved this book, and it was such an unexpected surprise. Young's writing is fluid, engaging, and touching, with sharp character moments that have you rooting for Lou in her very messy journey toward defining herself for herself and for no one else. Lu's characterization is believable for an 18-year-old trying to find her way in a world in an unconventional manner, while also having familial expectations looming over her shoulder and balancing both new responsibilities and new freedoms all at once, often without a roadmap or clear way to proceed. I appreciated how fully realized the side characters proved to be, and how Lu learns more about herself through her interactions with them. Lu at the Band explores toxic relationships and how to spot red flags, learning from one's mistakes and owning up to those mistakes in real time, and navigating shifting dynamics between parents and children. I would most definitely put this in the hands of a teenage version of myself, and if I were still in the classroom, it would go on the shelf for my students to enjoy and learn from. I enjoyed Lou at the Band via audiobook, which is narrated by Victoria Villarreal, who did an incredible job portraying Lou and distinguishing the many characters she encounters. I'm looking forward to reading Alexandra Leigh Young's next work, and I gave Lou at the Band 5 stars. Next up, we're going to talk about Here for a Good Time by Pai Mo That War. Here for a Good Time is a hilarious and action-packed novel about Poe, international best-selling author, with a fierce case of writer's block, who convinces her longtime best friend and roommate, Zui, to take a much-needed vacation on a remote island resort to hopefully get the creative juices flowing and give their friendship some much-needed TLC. What neither of them expects is to be caught in the crosshairs as armed masked women descend on the island, taking everyone hostage, and Poe and Zui find themselves running for their lives through an unfamiliar forest, while also trying to figure out if there's possibly more to their bond than just platonic friendship. War's writing is crisp and humorous, and I found myself laughing out loud multiple times while listening to the audiobook. The friendship between Poe and Zui is expertly baked into the story, and even though we just meet them, it's clear through their banter and dynamic that there's a ton of history between the two of them. Watching their friendship blossom into a possible romantic relationship amidst the wildness of running from armed gun women and trying to deduce how to both get out alive, save the other hostages, and call for help, kept the pacing of the story engaging and moving forward. The mystery element was done well, with Poe and Zui both realizing that their opposite approaches to life are the perfect mix to solve the intense situation they find themselves in and create a life together that's meaningful to them both. I'm also looking forward to reading more by this author, and I gave Here for a Good Time 4.75 stars. I also read the picture book This Is Who I Am by Rashmi Sirdeshpande, and I said about This Is Who I Am. This Is Who I Am is a beautifully illustrated and captivating picture book about a little girl who is part of two cultures, describing her experience being both of and from two different places at once. The artwork is gentle, and the pastel adjacent colors add to the soft, soothing mood of the book that is brought to life even further by the words. The author did an excellent job invoking both heartwarming moments, teachable anecdotes, and real-life experiences within a short amount of pages. Beautifully done. Next up, we have The Secret Crush Book Club by Carmen Lee. The Secret Crush Book Club tells the love story of Danny, a single mother and eldest daughter extraordinaire, and Zoe, the town's new librarian and undercover best-selling author, as they navigate Danny's newfound attraction to women and Zoe taking a chance after disastrous heartbreak. The writing is witty and paced really well, giving breadth to both the romance but also several side plots that add depth to the characters and the small town the story is based in. The character development in both Danny and Zoe is beautifully done, and the supporting characters feel fully fleshed out and like they have their own lives outside of the main protagonist. I enjoyed this beautiful story via audiobook, which is narrated by Angel Peen, one of my favorites, and she, of course, did nothing short of an impeccable job bringing Danny and Zoe's story to life and hitting all the humorous bits. I'm looking forward to continuing my journey with Carmen Lee's writing, and I gave The Secret Crush Book Club 4.25 stars. Next up, we have Lauren Harper Falls Apart by Shauna Robinson. Ooh, lengthy feedback. Lauren Harper Falls Apart follows high-achieving workaholic Lauren, who works for a sketchy mega corporation that ruined her hometown, but is transferred back to that same dying hometown after a mistake at work gets blown out of proportion. When Lauren arrives to find that she's not the only employee the company has shunted away to the bowels of their charity division, and that the local community center is in desperate need of funds, Lauren concocts the idea to bring back a beloved annual festival to save the community center, rebuild her employer's relationship with the town, and also, but most importantly, get her permanently and expeditiously undemoted. I loved Lauren's character growth throughout this novel, When we meet her, she is burnt out and working for a corporation that she knows sucks. Yet because of this 8-year plan she's been working towards in order to retire early, she's stuck in this capitalistic hellscape. Lauren being thrust back to her hometown is not only the catalyst for her to really look at herself, her decisions, and her values, but also to interrogate what she has been sacrificing for the past decade in order to get to this future she so desperately wants for herself. The supporting characters are fully realized in their own right, and they add clarity and texture to the small town. I appreciated how Robinson developed the rekindling of the friendship between Lauren and her childhood bestie, Marina. It was so beautiful to experience these two women relearn one another and make the active choice to reconcile their friendship, sifting through how their prior decisions and actions may have gotten misconstrued by one another. This book does an excellent job looking at how subtle ableism crops up and interacts with exploitation in the capitalist workplace, specifically through the lens of a hard of hearing protagonist who is used to always adjusting around her coworkers so that she's not left behind, instead of her coworkers acknowledging and making room for her disability. This novel also explores how capitalism has trapped a lot of us into thinking hustle culture is the only way forward, and how the ideals and comforts of small town living are not subpar or inferior, but rather they might be what saves our souls in the end. And I gave Lauren Harper Falls Apart 4.5 stars. Next up, we have The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. This is actually a DNF review for me. Y'all, I tried. I really did. And I'm going to give Stephen Graham Jones one more chance. I'm really trying to read My Heart is a Chainsaw next month or in January, and if that don't work out, I might just have to leave Brother alone because it's not working. The Buffalo Hunter is a historical horror novel that takes place in the American West as a Lutheran priest is approached by a vampire to transcribe his life amidst the backdrop of people in the community turning up dead in gruesome and unfathomable manners. I DNF'd this book at 44%. While the premise was intriguing, the pacing of the first third of the book was lackluster and dry, and I found myself not interested in either narrators. The way in which the story is presented is a bit disjointed and hard to pinpoint, specifically with the perspective of the Lutheran priest. The writing is superfluous, which detracts from the pacing and muddles the storytelling. Moving right along, we have Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee. Co-written by the creator of the Greenbone Saga and the daughter of Bruce Lee, Breath of the Dragon follows June, a 16-year-old martial artist living with his father in exile as he chases his dream of becoming the nation's guardian, the topmost martial artist in the nation, tasked with protecting an ancient. Y'all, this cat has been under my bed for hours. Strawberry, when? Not her casually coming from under the bed while I'm recording. Sis, when did you even do that? Are you going back under there? Girl, what? Having cats is wild. I don't even know where I was. What? I'm shook. Okay. As he chases his dream of becoming the nation's guardian, the topmost martial artist in the nation, tasked with protecting an ancient scroll. What June doesn't expect as he dedicates himself to the Guardians tournament is that there's much more political discord and machinations bubbling under the surface, and that the path to seizing the mantle of Guardian might be a lot more deadly than he could have ever. Lee and Lee's combined writing is fast-paced, descriptive, and full of beautiful moments. June's character growth is hard-won and genuine, with a definite promise for even more depth in the subsequent book. I thoroughly enjoyed this martial arts fantasy, and I'm looking forward to book 2. And I gave Breath of the Dragon 4.25 stars. Strawberry, you really had me shook. I did not know you were in here. Then the last book I'm going to talk about is Trouble in Queenstown by Delilah Pitt. Trouble in Queenstown follows private investigator Vandy Myrick as a seemingly open and shut infidelity case centering the town's first family turns deadly and drags up old racial sores. Thrust into the eye of the storm of this sticky investigation fraught with murky racial and political undertones, Vandy is determined to seek out the truth and peel back the ugly layers of her hometown, even when it's clear certain powerful people are against her doing so. Pitt's writing is fast-paced and humorous, with tender moments of connection between community members and heart-aching character development and backstory for Vandy. The mystery plot is perfectly done, with clues sliding together at the right moments and perfectly executed red herrings. I'm looking forward to more Vandy Myrick mysteries, and I gave Trouble in Queenstown 4.25 stars. And with all of that, I read a total of 323 pages and listened to 16 hours 45 minutes of NetGalley Read last week. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know if you're participating in NetGalley November, how it's going for you, what you're up to, what your stats are right now. And yeah, make sure to check out all of my socials, my bonfire, my Etsy shop. If you want to support the channel even more, you can become a Patreon member or a community member. And I will see you somewhere on the internet, but also most likely on the NetGalley November sprint train. Bye.
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Poking copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.